Hey friends, what's up? Cons here. Welcome back to another server admin tutorial or bucket spigot plugin tutorial. If you're joining for the first time, feel free to hit that subscribe button because I do these every week. If you have a suggestion of one you'd like me to do, feel free to comment that in the gibbles below. That would be the comment section for you new people. And I'll give you a shout out when I get around to it. Like this week is Deluxe Chat as requested by our player, Of Lords Gaming, Charles Newell, Nick Smiley Face or whatever, or XD, Kingdom PvP Network, and it's made by Extended Clip or Clip. He just changed his name, I believe. So Clip. And it's a chat formatting plugin, which is great. I know I've done two of them. I've done Chat Control and Essentials Chat, and this one is a premium one, so you have to log into Spigot to be able to see the web page that's linked to this one, and it is premium, so don't ask for me to steal it for you. It does require 1.8.3 plus, so if you're running on a host, you probably got to run a custom jar file so you can run 1.8 because they can't legally provide 1.8 jar files, but you can using the build tools, which is linked at the end of this video. Now, the best feature of this that I think is it allows for bungee cord chat without a database. It just works, and it's super cool. So we're on the McFriends network, and we have it up and running. This is the chat plugin that we use, and it's fantastic. So I'll show you guys that directly from our server as an example. It has a hover capability, so you can interact with the chat. So we're just going to take it off that. Here you can see this is the other server, so pretty much just hub. Nobody else is on right now, but it's that hover, and it'll show you different information in the hover. There's so many placeholders or variables that you can use in that, which is really cool. It actually supports JavaScript placeholders. I'll show you guys how to do that. I won't show you how to use JavaScript because I don't know, but if you know even a little bit about that, you can do some really cool stuff with different expressions and coding, and then hovering, and then you can actually set up a click command. So if you click on it, it'll automatically fill in. I'm going to message Coog there, or there is going to open up the staff, and then if it's a donor rank, you can click on the donor rank and it'll open up the buy console, which is really cool. And then if you click on that, it'll actually put in the command to teleport to that server, which is really neat. Now, this will override any chat plugins that you have, but you can set a chat priority, which is really neat. So if you have users with multiple in multiple groups, the higher priority will get the priority. Basically, the higher group will get the priority. It operates off of permission nodes, which is really neat. Allows for a lot of flexibility, a lot more chat formatting depending on group, which is really neat. You'll see that once we hit the config file, and it does Tiny integration. It does like a lot of easy rank stuff. That has a lot of integration, so you can pull placeholders and variables from a lot of different plugins, which would allow you to do multiple prefixes, which is really neat. So you could have like a town, and then the prison rank maybe, if you want, or the vault rank, which would be the prefix for the user group. So much really cool stuff. I'll show you guys that in a moment. The permissions works like this. If you want them to be able to use bungee cord chat, then you need to give them DeluxeChat.bungee.chat. If you want them to be able to private message, that's going to be DeluxeChat.pm. There's a whole lot of other permission nodes I'm not going to hit. The link will be in the gibbles. It's on the main page of the plugin. You can pick and choose what you want in there. Those are the two that I felt like we really had to hit. The other one is how you decide what format they have, and that's going to be chat format dot whatever the format name is. You'll see that in a moment when we get to the config file. And then if you're going to use, you can actually use all of the featherboard placeholders, which is like in the thousands. You just got to enable it in the config file, which we'll show you in a second. And you need to have a couple of the plugins listed, I think over here, and the placeholder API. There's not too many in-game commands to do. There's just D. You can do dchat, and that's going to have all the stuff. And then you can basically do reload. You can do test. You could do list, which is dchat, and that's going to show all the format names that you have. And then you could do dchat news, which is going to pull from the website, which is really cool. So let's hop over to the config file and take a look. Okay, so here we are. Here's our server. Once again, we're running 1.8.8. We're probably a few versions behind, but that's fine. We're going to go into our plugins folder and then our Deluxe Chat. Now, you're only going to see config, messages, and placeholders right away. I'll talk about that in a moment. Obviously, messages is going to be the ability to custom change any messages. Placeholders, a way that you can change the way placeholders look, which is really neat. So we're going to hop back in. We're going to open the config file. Now this is the default config. We'll take a walk over to my production config file to show you guys an example. Here's where you enable the bungee cord, and then you can set the server name, what that's going to look like at the beginning of their username, join global, so if it announces that you've joined, timestamp, ops use group format, so you have that. Now here's where all the hooks that you can enable. So the reason I have that, if you want to use JavaScript placeholders, you have to enable it in here first and then restart your server. Then you're going to get that JavaScript_placeholders.yml. Then you can put your JavaScript expressions directly in there, or you can have it reference a file. If you have it reference a file, it's going to create a folder called JavaScript, and you put your JavaScript files in there. Really cool stuff. And then the Mdm Placeholders Api, as I was talking about, that's where you enable that. And there, obviously, you got jobs, you got faction stuff, you got all these Easy Ranks Pro, Easy Ranks Lite, Deluxe tags. There's so much stuff in here. Sky Wars Reloaded, Wicked Sky Wars. You can even do a chat filter, which is really neat. In here, here's your private message, true or false over bungee cord, all that stuff. Here's your private message formatting, and now we get into the actual format. So this is the default format. It has a super high priority, so that is always going to take priority over that. There's your prefix, which is going to pull from the vault group prefix there, and then the prefix tooltip, and then the tooltips are the overlay that will be shown there, and then you have your click commands in here. So you just fill that out, copy and paste, and then this default is going to be the name of it. So you need to give your users that chat format dot whatever this name is. So let's hop over to this. Now here's our default one, as you can see, and we filled in the channel tooltip and the prefix tooltip and all that stuff. So here's our first donor rank in here. You know, this is the channel one, which is going to be the front end of it. Then you're going to have it when you hover over the player and then over the name, and then the click commands when you click on that. Now there's no suffix commands because there's no suffix for this one. So that's how you can modify this. It's super simple, gives you a lot of flexibility, and then once again, if you have multiple people, the highest priority group will take priority. So let's hop over to the JavaScript_placeholders.yml. This is the default ones. From here up is filled out. The clip has always put together great documentation. It's one of my favorite things, is all the stuff in here. He explains all of these variables and expressions. You'll probably understand a little bit more if you actually do JavaScript, so that'll probably help you guys out. And then if you put file colon and then the file name in the expression, it's going to create that folder, JavaScripts folder. But you need to reload dchat in between, you know, enabling JavaScript, and then it'll load that YML and all that stuff. I'm not going to go into detail about JavaScript because I don't know how to code, but I'm sure you guys are on your way to that. There's a lot of great examples here to help get you started. Let's hop back over into the game. So that's about it. Hopefully you found this helpful. It's a super simple but very customizable plugin. It even allows you to do JavaScript, which I think is really cool. And my favorite thing is super simple cross-server bungee cord chat, which is fantastic. So be sure to send some love to Clip and check this out. Hopefully it helps you guys out with your server and improving the professionalism of your server. This is Kaz from McFriends, reminding you guys all, enjoy the game. God bless. Bye.